time not seeing everyone on Fun Friday. So, like always, thank God it's Friday. So, it looks like the tilt on it. So, I'm kind of new to the technology game. Jared here has a new gimbal that's working out really good, except you guys might see me get a little wonky with it at times. So good morning, everyone. Hope you're doing good. A couple things that we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about some of the new fish that we're working on, and also what's been going on here at Imperial Tropical. So right now we're getting ready for winter time. So we've been shipping fish out every week, and we see our friends up north are definitely feeling the cold air coming down. So we've had really beautiful weather here in Florida. It's been just perfect, but we know that it's coming. Mr. Winter, cold winter is going to be here before we know it. So we've been putting in a lot of work to get the ponds ready for plastic. So you guys that have been following us for some time know that every year it's a major ordeal for us every winter time to protect these fish from the cold weather. So at some point I'm gonna step outside, show you guys what we've been working on around the ponds and how we're preparing for the cold winter ahead. So I am going to try to answer the questions as we go, but just kind of bear with me. I know David was asking about the Sanga Bay, so I'm going to go ahead and show those off since David was asking about them first. And as I'm showing you those fish, I'm going to try to answer some comments. So the males are starting to color up very, very nicely. It looks like there's a few like males that are showing really good color and other ones that have their colors turned off. These are all males in this tank. I would expect us to have females available, but up front here we try to sort out all the males, so we only have males in these tanks. That way it's easier for us to make sure that we do not send a female out by accident, because as you can see, like, they will turn their colors off once, you know, they go in a tank and they're a little bit crowded. They'll turn those colors off. Like, here's the blue flash. Now that's actually the iceberg fryer eye. We got a little bit of grief about these guys because people were like, that's the iceberg, and I'm like, yeah, it's, you know, got the fryer eye in it. There's going to be quite a bit of color difference in some of them. Like this one, you're going to see a lot more white, and then this one's you got more blue. But that's a man-made strain, and you know, depending on their mood, is going to depending on their markings a lot. So like the more dominant the fish is, the more bright those colors are going to be. So so this front area we try to do all males in these tanks, and like here's the SP44s. Let's see if I could get that panned up, and then let's see what else is looking nice. Oh, these Gold Harbor Island, I really like these guys. They're looking really nice. See that male fired up. Really nice. There's the blue flash. And what's unique about the blue flash, we're getting these from what was originally brought in from Germany as pink flash. We started getting blue ones, and they're actually really unique because they all look slightly different, but there's some really cool collar markings on them. And David, I know this is one of David's favorite fish, is the Azurius. And when those guys are happy, they are fired up. And right now there's a couple males in there that are looking really, really nice. All right, so I'm gonna have to park this thing in front of a tank and go through these comments. So I'm gonna let you guys look at the green face on Dew Point. They're gonna be really, really shy. But I'm gonna start back up at the top and answer some of these questions. There's David asking about the Sanga Bay Red Empress. Ed says I have two 180-gallon tanks, one a Lake Malawi and one a Lake Tanganyika. I would like to have a Starry Night bleaker-eye, but I'm unsure if they could be kept with haps and peacocks. Well, I'm going to give you the, opinion that I have, and it might not be the opinion that everyone else has, but I personally would not put a bleaker-eye in with Malawi haps and peacocks. Can it be done? Yes. I see, actually in our Facebook group, I see a lot of people posting up pictures of their bleaker-eye looking really, really nice, and with peacocks and haps. The problem is that it might work for some, but it's not going to work for everyone. The bleaker-eye, in my opinion, could be very easy to stress out, and they're not, easy to deal with if they're getting picked on. Like if you have a dominant peacock in the tank or a dominant hap that's terrorizing the tank, your Starry Night's not going to be happy in that environment. But if you have plenty of tanks, and you could relocate him and move him around, but if you've only got the two tanks, I would say you're going to be a little bit of a risk adding a bleaker-eye. But that's just my opinion. We try to always recommend what's going to give you the best results. So I know others would say that they do it and they have no problems with it. So the Facebook group, you can actually probably get live, pictures and videos of people with them and their tanks, and they can kind of give you even more pros and cons than what I just gave you. So, all right, I'm gonna find another tank to park the camera in front of, and I'm gonna read some more of these comments and try to give you guys some answers. The green spot bleaker-eye. It's kind of weird. They got bleaker-eye new green, but it's the green spotted bleaker-eye, which is a location of bleaker-eye. Like our other strain of bleaker-eye, we don't have the exact location of, and I think officially bleaker-eye is not the right name. That's why you'll see it kind of in quotations for us. But this was one that we got in that is a specific line. I personally don't think it's as nice as our old line that we still keep and breed, but they also don't color up until they get bigger. So I think once they get a little bit bigger and they start really turning on their colors, I think they're going to look really, really nice. But when they're small like this, like you can see that one guy just starting to color up, but the rest of them are just kind of not showing colors. But that's also great reward, is to watch these fish transform into like this basic silver fish into something stunning. And so for the ones that are patient, that's a really cool thing to watch and enjoy. All right, what else do we want to keep in front of? All right, we got into some, these are actually in quarantine still, but this is the red shoulder severums. Probably one of our most requested fish lately is these Raquel, the true red shoulder severum. And they're in quarantine, but it won't be long, and they're going to be out of quarantine and up for sale. Now they're at this size, again, they're not showing much color, but when they get big, they are really, really nice. In fact, I'll show you what they look like when they get big. They're doing water changes on the tank. Rob and John is. So there's a Tanganyikan tank getting refilled. And this one's still a little cloudy because it just got a water change, but there's the Raquel, which is a really, really nice one. I'm gonna leave it on the South American tank, which got a water change yesterday, and let you guys watch them while I answer some more questions. Hello, Kim, Nick, Kevin, Pikel, SC, Chelsea, Shady Grady. Daniel says he loves the cartoon drawing of Mike. Yeah, I didn't know really what to say about that because always not a big camera in front of the camera person, and when you're looking at yourself, it's already, you know, I'm just not a picture. I don't want to be in the picture. I'd rather be the one taking the picture. But I thought Jared did a really good job, and I think it looks cool. So just gotta get used to myself looking like a cartoon. I like it. Alright. Yo, links, Fish Fam, Ali Sean. Hey, I got an email in my draft that I'm gonna finish, so I'll get you that. I'll do that this afternoon. I'll make sure I get caught up with you on that. Josh Cunningham, what's up? Man, Josh, I saw the weather in Michigan I think the high was like 45 up in Sheboygan last week. So I think your sunshiny days are over with for Michigan for a while. So hope everything's doing good for you. Derek from Sanford. All right, let's see. Wow, Alishon's saying it's going to be in the 70s next week in Eastern PA. So that's good. That means it didn't get too cold for too long. I know, Kevin. It's been a while since I've been on live, but I promise I've been busy. So John says I can't wait to get my order. Nice. Tell us what you ordered, John. We'll give you some input. I might even be able to show you what they look like here before they got shipped out to you. Bill says it's been 40 degrees in Iowa and 60s by mid-afternoon. That's not too bad. At least the highs are getting up there. David's saying he needs a vacation down in Florida to escape the nasty winter in Michigan. That's what a lot of people do, David. There's a lot of, in fact, my wife's family, they're originally from Michigan. They came down as what we call snowbirds years ago and ended up staying. So it's very popular in the wintertime. Yeah, Kim says it's hot in Arizona, 87. Yeah, we actually had some packages go to Texas yesterday, and we actually had to use ice packs because it was like in the high 90s. So Lynn Chapman's on. Good to see you, Lynn. Thank you again for everything that you and Ahmad and everyone else does in the Facebook group. So Dragon Layer, what's up? All right, Kel's asking, how do you clean the Matten filters? Well, I'm going to go show you guys the Matten filters, and there's a lot of different ways to clean them. Our method of cleaning won't necessarily be the same as your method of cleaning because one thing is we're doing water changes like every couple days, and then our water source is for like these Malawis is well water, so there's going to be iron and minerals in our water that won't be in your water, and you could see like some of that stuff building up behind the tank back there. So the way we like cleaning is we like to take the siphon hose and we will stick it back down and we will siphon all that stuff up from the bottom, and then we'll slowly start siphoning into the sponge. As you see me rubbing it with my hand, all the particulates coming out, and that's not fish waste, that's strictly from our water. All right, now my friend Spencer Jack up in Canada, he's got a big fish facility with spectacular fish also, and he's got Matten filters, and he tells me he cleans his filters once a year, and they actually will take them out and take them outside under the water hose and rinse them off and then bring them back into the tank. The problem with us doing that here, if I went to lift that sponge out, it's going to do what I say is bombing the tank with all the particulates from our water. All right, So, you know, we've tried several different methods. I would take a new Matten filter and I would wedge it down below it and then pull it. So when I bombed the tank, it would all stay back here, and then we would siphon it all off. But the best maintenance that I found is when the tank is getting clean, to run the siphon hose up against it and down in the crevices, and you'll start seeing it pull out the gunk. But the nice thing about the Matten filters is you don't have to do a lot of maintenance to them. Like Spencer Jack, he's got a commercial, you know, facility that's got lots and lots of fish and tanks, and he says he does water cleaning on his Matten filters once a year. So that's you know, that's the nice thing about them, is they're not where you constantly have to do water change or cleanings on the Matten filter, because they work very efficiently. um, and you can see, like, our tanks are, I mean, they're crystal clear. That was probably, I'd say, one of the best things that we did to our fish room, is switching to the Matten filters from Swiss Tropicals. Stefan Tanner, who is a dear friend of mine, but we also buy all our Matten filters from him because he told me years ago that if I would switch to them, that they would make our life a lot easier, and they have for sure. And he's also, the fish are a lot happier because the amount of bacteria, beneficial bacteria growing, is a lot more than what you get out of the round sponge filters. And when you're running this many tanks in a fish room, it's way more energy efficient. So yeah, here is some of the Aves Creek, some extra males that we have from our breeders. So these are some that we grew up, and now we have extras. So I think those actually went back up on the website yesterday. The Kalitawa, I'm not sure if we're saving these guys back for future breeders, but they're one of the newer rainbow species that are really, really hot in the hobby. You can see that male fired up right there. So, all right, Lynn Chapman. Yeah, don't forget to close your chat and hit that like button. That like button's important. That tells us that you guys like what you're seeing, and it makes us get motivated to keep showing you guys videos. So and it's crazy that after all this time, YouTube still hasn't figured out a way to hit the like button without disabling the comments. So thank you, Lynn. All right. Juan Ruiz is saying, thanks for the Vampire Plico, Star Sapphire, White Lips. I didn't expect that they were that huge. Love them. Yes, the Vampire Plicos have been, those are actually wall caught, and they were actually a really good size. So I was happy with the size of I think they were the L240s that were really nice. Yeah, Bill, you know what? I'm glad you caught that, because when I started it, I always like doing the camera on the side, but when I turn it sideways, it tells me that it won't record. And it's probably because when we first turned it on, we had the camera already in this angle, so it won't let me turn sideways. But you're right, it's a lot better with the cameras when the phone is turned sideways, but because I started it like this, it won't let me turn it. I already tried it, and it won't let me change the camera angle. So earlier this week, a good friend of ours, Joe Mulvey, commented on our orange chromide post, and he's like, hey, those don't look like orange chromide. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, you know, I thought they just maybe weren't colored up. And so I reached out to the breeder that we purchased them from, and he told us that, yeah, that's not the orange chromide, that's the East Coast Gold Cichlid, one of the newer Victorians that we have. So it was a good catch by Joe Mulvey. When these fish are, and I haven't even told him that we ended up finding out. All right, sorry about that, everyone. I had a phone call beeping in. So I haven't even got to tell Joe that we ended up last night finding out that these are the East Coast Gold cichlids, which are all new to us. And when these fish are just like, you know, in juvenile form and silver, it's hard to know for sure. So that was good that Joe was able to at least let us know that they weren't the right fish, and that probably happened when we brought the fish in. They might have got mislabeled, or there's a lot of different things that could have happened, but we're not sure that if we're going to sell these guys yet, or wait until they get bigger and start breeding them. It's a new fish to us, so we're gonna grow them out for a little bit longer and see how they turn out. So that was the whole orange chromide discussion, was that those are growing up still in a pond, and we're going to be bringing them in real soon, and that's going to be a new fish that we're going to be working with once they're big and mature. All right, so let's go to, let's look and see what else we got here to show you guys. Let's go look at the Savannah. Always one of my favorite, and when I walked by their tank this morning, I'm like, wow, these guys are really, really nice looking. I mean, this is the actual ones for sale too. That's what's crazy is, when they get, these are like the 4 to 5 inch ones, but they are really, really nice. And what I like about it is, like, they all look like that, I mean, it's not like, hey, you got a few dominant ones and the rest of them are not showing good color. Right. So that's Savannah. I'm going to drop down and show you some spiralum V-Haw. And these are a little bit bigger, which is nice. They're starting to get color. I'm gonna leave it on this tank and I'm gonna answer some questions. Daniel's saying, does anyone have success with any types of plants and with their South American cichlids? Mine keep tearing them up, crips, val, etc. I'm not a plant expert. I definitely would ask the group. I know Anubias would be one that I think that the fish, for the most part, do not like feeding on. So I would look at different types of Anubias, but definitely get in the group and ask that question to the group and get their opinion. I know back in the day I used to build little barriers so they couldn't get at the plant, but it was a lot of work, and it made maintenance a little bit harder too on the tanks. So, but that was something that back in the day we used to do, is use egg crate, put it in the bottom, get the roots down there below the egg crate, and basically fence off the fish until the plants got well established. And then they seemed to keep them trimmed back, but they couldn't ever get them all the way back to the base, if that makes sense, There's an albino red empress male popping right there. Really nice fish. All right, I'm gonna step outside and show you guys the ponds and answer some questions as I'm walking. So David's saying, Mike, were those the 3 to 4 inch I seen males on the website? Yes, those are the 3 to 4 inch males on the website. So Northern Tide, happy Friday. Yeah, Alishan's saying, yeah, no true bleaker eye in the hobby. Yes, and that's happened quite a bit with fish when they first come, in the hobby. They get labeled as the wrong name, and it's people come to know them as that name. So I know that's happened with several of the Malawis also. So we still keep the bleaker eye name in there, but we try to have it where it's not the main common name. So yeah, we're having really, really nice weather today. I mean, it's It doesn't get much better in Florida than what we're having right now. It's not cold, it's not too hot. But with that being said, we're still getting ready for the cold winter. You know, even though we're still probably, you know, a good month, hopefully at least 2 months, possibly away from getting any extreme cold, we have to start preparing the ponds for plastic. And we probably won't start covering the ponds up until usually around Thanksgiving. Like right before Thanksgiving, it's nice for us to have everything covered up with plastic. And the plastic that we're talking about is the same plastic that you see on our greenhouses, like the plastic over there. We put that over all the ponds that have fish in it that are cold sensitive, like swordtails and stuff like that. Those guys actually like the cooler weather to a degree, so you know those won't be going under plastic. Uh, some of the centrals, they don't mind the colder weather, so fish that are not cold sensitive, they won't have the plastic. But most of the fish we do now, they are cold sensitive, so we're going to be covering, you know, well over half the farm this year with plastic. And I don't know how well the cables are showing up, but there's cables, and we get asked, you know, all the time, like, hey, what are the cables over the ponds for? And a lot of people are like, you know, is it for the birds? And that does kind of make sense, you know, like the birds do not like flying down when there's cables over the ponds. You know, the koi people, they a lot of times will string cables up over their koi pond if they're having trouble with ospreys and stuff like that. But the cable is strictly for us to hold the plastic up for the winter time, to keep it off the water, so there's a natural barrier between the plastic and the surface of the water. So, while we're walking, I'm going to try to read some of these comments. All right. Derek's asking about Tropheus cichlids. Do y'all have any stock? We should. I mean, we probably are breeding at least 8 different types of Tropheus. Just have to go on the website and see what is available. And if you see something out of stock, you can sign up for the out of stock notification. You can also shoot us an email, and we could tell you like, hey, look, these guys are currently breeding and they're almost ready for sale. And, you know, we can kind of give you a projection on how long, you know, before they're back in stock. But, you know, a lot of people are like, man, you're always out of stock on stuff. Well, I mean, on one hand, that's a good thing, but it's not easy to breed all these fish and keep them in stock. So, you know, it's just going to happen sometimes. As we grow and increase our breeding, you know, facility, then that's going to give us more, you know, tanks to breed and to grow fish in. And speaking of breeding, I'm going to go ahead and go in the breeding room, because I'm pretty excited about these new angels. I think Mike B showed them a couple weeks ago, but the super red koi angel, I know some of the angel fish world, they call the ones that are really red, they call them red devil angels. And I'm not a big fan of the red devil angel name. I don't know what we're going to call them. You guys might have to give us some ideas. You know, I'm thinking we should call them like super red koi. But I mean, these guys are like, I mean, they're like glowing in the dark red. And that's without color enhanced food. They were grown outdoors, which I think is very, very beneficial to fish and helping them, you know, get these spectacular colors. They do have natural color enhanced food that will bring out these colors, because these fish are the same as these fish. The only difference is that these were grown indoors without any color enhanced food. I mean, there's still a nice strain of koi. They are in a lighter tank environment, but they're definitely not as red as these guys. And it's that way with cichlids, right? So the Malawis are much like that. Like we bring them in from the ponds and grow them up in the greenhouses where they're getting lots of sunshine and good quality foods. You know, we don't feed much collar enhanced food. We do have some. In fact, we're experimenting it with those koi that I just showed you to see if we could turn them red naturally with the food. But those are some really, really nice koi angels. So I'm really excited. Armando's excited about it. Everybody around here is like excited about them. So it's going to be a really, really nice fish. And they're not for sale yet because we're still, you know, sorting out the ones we're going to save for breeders. But we will be offering some up for sale. Who knows? You're just going to have to follow us on social media, and we'll probably make a post about it and say, hey, you know, here's the super red koi that we were showing off, and we're going to put like 10 or 15 of them up for sale. We don't have a lot of them, so when we do sell them, it's only going to be, you know, I don't know how many. If I had to say, no more than 20, because the rest of them are going to be saved back for breeders. So really excited about those guys. I think it's going to be a really, really nice angelfish. So all right, I'm going to go back in the warehouse and we're going to wrap this up. I'm going to try to fly through the comment section. And I'm going to leave it on the OB Ollies. All right. Okay, Alexander, nice. Not a question we get asked a lot, but it's a very good question because, you know, unless you're like very active in the fish hobby, a lot of people don't know how fish do get shipped. So yes, we use pure oxygen. And let me just walk you over here and I'll show you our packing area real quick. But it's a good question. And there's multiple ways of shipping, but you got to use live oxygen unless you use breather bags. All right, so like this is a order waiting to go out. It's going to have a heat pack. It's going to have a little spacer, has a little card that says thank you for your business, and if you have any problems, let us know, and we'll make it right. So here's the packing slip. All right, and it has some instructions about the heat pack for when they close it up. Everything has been through a series of checks to make sure that the right fish, the right size, everything was done. And then in the box, I hate to undo all of it, but I'll undo a little bit. It's got some insulation, so this must be going to a fairly cold area. But here's one of the bags here, and they're double bagged. And this is the Savannah. This is a 2 to 3 inch. And the fish has been cleaned out, so they haven't had any food put in their tanks today. We usually feed in the afternoons after the fish are all picked because we don't want to feed them right before they go out. And that's it. So I'd say we're pretty good at it. Our crew's gotten really good over the years. We've been doing this a long time, and we're really good at shipping fish. So all right, I'm gonna try to buzz through these questions. All right. Nice. Whereabouts do you source your Matten filter pads? I talked about it earlier. Yeah, we don't sell them, but Swiss Tropicals, Stefan Tanner, telling Mike from Imperial sent you over there, and he'll take good care of you. Nashad, what's up? My good friend from Chicago. Glad to have you on. And I hope you're doing good. I know that weather in Chicago is gonna be getting cold. Ali Sean's asking if we're going to Aquashella in Daytona. You know, I would like to, and especially because it's so close to our backyard. I mean, Daytona, probably looking at like an hour and a half drive, 2 hours at the most. So it really depends on what my kids have going that weekend. I know I went last year just for the day, and it was awesome. So I wouldn't mind attending. I know we're not going to have a booth. We just got too much going on for us to do a booth. But I hope to. Mauricio, nice. Good to see ya. All right. Mike Martin's asking if we got any red pikes. We had none of the Autobapo, but we had some Green pikes. I don't know if we still have them, but they were right down here. That'd be a good one for people to see if they're not familiar with. The Sabrina. Yep, we still got him. So that's the Sabrina bike. And he's really, really nice. So while we got the camera on him, I'm gonna answer some. Dave Jones said, damn, I almost missed it. Hey, you could, once I'm done, and you can start it back over and let us know what you think. Nishad's asking if we have any heckle eyes. Yes, I'm sure we do. Let me see. Hey, and if I miss questions, because it's hard for me to go back and forth from the phone, don't hesitate to shoot us an email, and we could give you an answer. I'm excited about this one. This is actually a really rare tetra, but when we got them in, they weren't very nice looking. They're just kind of a basic silver fish. But we need to get a new photograph of those, because it's a really, really nice looking tetra. That's one of the newer tetras that came out of Brazil. I'm pretty sure that one did. If not, it's maybe further south, but I know, I think that was some of the ones in the Amazonas magazine, but our friend in Indonesia is breeding them now, and it's nice to have tank raised ones in. So here's some of the Heckelei. Not big. I'd say like 2 to 3 inches. And I know your tank already have some bigger fish in it. Here's some slightly bigger ones. These are more like 3 to 4. So if you think he's big enough to go in your tank at 3 to 4, let me know and we'll set it up. So I know we got you that red spotted Severum recently. So all right, I'm gonna keep it in front of the Oscar tank. They're like puppy dogs. Kim's asking if we ever sell buried crayfish. My last female just died and I need them for my puffers. No, we typically don't. I mean, there's times that they get sent out if they're buried up, but it would be kind of random, you know, I would say it would be unusual for us to have one buried up and go out, because usually we're selling them at a juvenile size. One thing you might want to do is either get another pair or female, and they usually, depending on the size, it won't take them long to get big enough to breed. But yeah, that's probably the best we could do, Kim. I'm sorry. What is a good tank for gold barbs? I mean, I like community tanks. You don't have to have a big one for gold barbs. Say a 40-gallon tank would be ideal for plants. Yes, that is the fish in question, Alishan. The Madagascar cichlid, the East Coast gold. That's what it is. So, all right, guys, it's too much. I can't even get out all of them. So, um, nice. I found too many fish, too little time to keep them all. So many people joined today, and I want to just tell you how much I appreciate it. And we're going to wrap it up, but hopefully I got to answer your question and I got to show you some fish. But I promised the wife that I would keep it at 45 minutes today, and so I'm gonna go over there and eat lunch with the family, and then come back here and work with the fish. So everyone have a good weekend, stay safe, and who knows, I might get back on and do some more live feeds, give Mike B a break. So everybody have a good weekend, be safe, and we'll be in touch with you. Thank you.